When we buy our first camera, we expect that from now on, every photo taken with it will be of top-notch quality. But it doesn't take much time for our dream to shatter when we realize that having a good quality camera alone is not enough. Having a good camera along with a good lens is equally crucial. And this begins our quest to find the right lens. And we come to realize that there are tons of lenses available in the market. How do I know which would be the perfect lens for me? And then, out of nowhere, you receive an advice. Bro, get a portrait lens. You will get absolutely stunning photos. And this is where the journey of researching portrait lenses begin. And it's no less than a PhD itself. And in the end, it turns out that what most special inside a portrait lens is its aperture, meaning the f number. The smaller this number is, the more background blur or bokeh you will have in your photos. And bokeh means cinematic look. Armed with this knowledge, we set out with a great enthusiasm in search of a portrait lens with the smallest f number. And that's when the reality hit us hard on our face. The larger the lens aperture, the higher the price of the lens. Slowly you begin to realize that finding a lens with all these qualities combined is quite challenging. After quite some time, I finally found a portrait lens that combined all these qualities in one. This lens has a massive f1.2 aperture. It has a good autofocus, great photo quality, and the most important thing, it's the most affordable portrait lens in its category. If this lens didn't have one weakness, which we will discuss further, it could have easily been the best portrait lens in this decade. The lens we are talking about is the Viltrox 75mm F1.2 Pro. This is a portrait lens designed for APS-C cameras. The lens I'm using is designed for Sony APS-C's camera like A6000, A6400 or the ZV series Sony cameras. The same lens is also available for Fuji and Nikon camera systems in the market. I will mention all the link in the description. Before we move on to unboxing, I want to make it clear that this is not a sponsor video. I purchased this lens with my own money, and in today's video, I'll be sharing my own experience with this lens. So let's quickly unbox this lens. So friends, this lens comes in a box like this, and from the front this box looks something like this. Now let's quickly open the box and see what content is inside. So the lens looks something like this. Right now there is a lens hood and cap on top of it. If you look at the back, it has a rubber gasket that typically found in weather sealed lenses, although I'm not sure if this is a weather sealed lens. Furthermore, if you look closely, there is also an USB-C port at the back, which could be used to upgrade the firmware if Viltrox offer firmware upgrade. Here is the front element of this lens, and the filter size here is 77mm, which means that if you want to attach a UV or ND filter to this lens, you will need to use a 77mm filter. If we look on the side, you will see two buttons. One is a focusing toggle switch, manual focus, autofocus, and the other one is a custom button switch that you can assign to various functions in your camera. This is the focusing ring and it's pretty smooth. Back here is the aperture ring. Now with this lens, you cannot control the aperture through your camera mode dial. Here is a button which can make this aperture click or declick. Right now it's in declick mode and hence aperture ring is moving smoothly. It's useful for the video work. Now I will flip the switch and this will make the aperture clickable. So you can see here. I have been using this lens for past few weeks and I have used it for some personal projects as well as 2 weddings. So by now I am aware of all of its strong point as well as its shortcoming. However, before moving there, I would like to show you some sample photos so that you can see what kind of result you can get with this lens. So now let's talk about its strong points, weak points, and finally that one weakness that can stop this lens from becoming a blockbuster hit in the market. So let's begin with the strong points. Its f1.2 aperture is the most strongest point of this lens. You can literally pair this lens with an extremely budget-friendly APS-C camera like Sony A6000 and can create a really high-quality professional photo which can beat or go head-to-head with a full-frame camera quality. Next strong point of this lens is its price. Generally, lenses with 1.2 aperture, especially those which comes with the autofocus, are very expensive. But this lens comes with extremely pocket-friendly pricing, which you can see on the screen right now. Since it's priced as a budget lens, most of the people can afford it and can pair it with their regular style APS-C cameras and boost their image quality to professional level without spending tons of money. Next point is its image quality. It's quite common that budget lenses, especially when you shoot them with a wide open aperture, tend to produce soft images. However, this lens is an exception. You can get sharp photos even in f1.2 aperture if you nail your focus properly. And the last point is its construction quality. Most of the budget lenses either sacrifice on their image quality or they are made up of plastic material with a questionable construction quality. But this lens scores high on all front. It performs good and built like a tank, so you are getting best value for money with this lens. Now let's talk about two of its weak points. The first minor weak point is its close focusing distance. With this lens, you can't take extreme close-up as the close focusing distance is 88 cm, which is quite a lot. So you will have to have enough space between you and your subject. And now it's time to discuss the one major flaw this lens have which can lead to its failure in the market, and that is its autofocusing performance. As you know that it's an autofocus lens, and if you are a still shooter then it will give you a decent autofocus performance. As mentioned previously, I shot two weddings with this lens and I used it in indoor as well as outdoor. I shot with it during the daytime as well as night time, and the AF performance was decent. It's not as snappy as compared to Sony native lenses, but it's decent and manageable. Things go sideways when you turn to video mode. Its AF performance is not reliable. In fact, it's better to shoot in manual mode. So if you are a hybrid shooter or a cinematographer who heavily rely on autofocus, I would not recommend this lens. Viltrox might fix the AF performance problem with their firmware update in future. However, as I said right now, I would not recommend it for video work. I will mention Amazon affiliated link of all the products shown in this video in the description. If you have any question, please comment below and I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. Show some love and hit the like button, and please subscribe to my channel.